think we all have challenges in life. Nothing's going to be perfect, but the mindfulness practice helps people to find themselves, to understand themselves, and to understand the challenges, so they know what to do and they know what not to do.
Good evening, Australia. Welcome to the show. I'm Michael Kuzilny. It's amazing how the universe brings lovely people into your life. On the couch tonight, Harriet Nguyen came to Australia from Vietnam at the age of 9, got bullied at school, didn't quite fit in, hit the grog, joined a gang, failed school, could have ended up in a graveyard or in prison, but turned his life around to be a super successful entrepreneur. He's got a beautiful wife, kids, lots of money in the bank, and you meditate. I'm hoping to grow our friendship, Harry, and get to know you a lot better.
Sure, I look forward to it.
But isn't it amazing how you turned your life around? So you can inspire a lot of people, can't you?
I can, yes. I like to do that too.
So growing up, tell me, grew up in the Vietnam War.
Yeah. So war is not really recommended to anybody. It's a different atmosphere, Michael. You know, it's a lot of confusion, hatreds, fear, anxiety, and so forth. You know, you read that from the TV, the conversations, and so forth. You know, I had a death of a family during war. So it was a total mess, and I witnessed the destruction of lives, destructions of buildings, communities, and so forth. It's not good for a child.
Did some of your extended family members get killed?
Yes, absolutely. It was my uncle that's got killed. So it's very close to home, to us, with that experience.
So at that time, Vietnam was in a state of emergency, and it was a terrible place. Did you go to school every day during the war?
I can't remember. I was a little bit young, but I didn't think so. I didn't think that I had to go to school. I remember just hearing planes and bombs and, you know, just whistle through the sky, jet planes. And one day, you know, we heard boom, it was really big bomb. My father was screaming and just get to the bedroom, and he built his bed in a way that it really is like a shelter with steel against the wall. He packed it up with sand beds and things like that, just in case if the house collapsed, we would be safe in there. And my mother, I was playing with my brother, and my mother would grab us and we just hid in there until everything was safe and we got
out. Then when you were 9, your dad packed up the family and you came to this lovely country, Australia.
Yeah. Well, what happened is after the war, because my dad was part of the political party, they put him a prison. It's pretty an open prison. They call it a re-education camp for 4 years. So I was growing up without a father, and my mother had to do 2 or 3 jobs to It
sounds like a lot of garbage re-educating.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they nearly killed him.
It was almost like an attitude adjustment prison, wasn't it? What a lot of bullshit. And then you arrived at 9. You couldn't speak English.
That's right. So when he came out, we went in a tiny little boat, fishing boat, and we just escaped, risking our lives. We were shot at by the Navy or the border police.
So you came as a refugee?
Yeah.
I'm thinking Qantas business class, you know?
No, not business class at all.
Arrival camp? No.
And we came to a refugee camp in Malaysia.
Who organised the escape plan?
Look, around that time, around the late 70s and the early 80s, there's a lot of plans. Some are not successful, some died at seas, some were put in prison, and if they do that, they take all your possessions. So we were very lucky to be able to escape on a tiny little boat, and we live in an island. It's funded by the UN at that time, Michael, and it's very basic shelter, basic food.
I heard in those days, Harry, that the Navy tried to blow a lot of refugee boats out of the water.
Well, it depends on which Navy, but the Navy were helping. There's a lot of...
Oh, they were helping? I thought they were shooting at you. And so you arrived after all that. How did you arrive here?
Okay, so because my mother was pregnant, we didn't stay long. I think we stayed about 7-8 months. Now, we were very lucky. We were sponsored by a man, a very kind man, and his name is Bernard Thomas. And I called him Grandpa Thomas as the adopted grandfather. Now, coincidentally, he was a builder. So when we arrived, there's a tiny little unit. It had everything. It was second-hand, but it was great. You know, it had the TV, had the bed, had the toys, the books, the fridge, everything was there. So he looked.
So what date was this?
This is in 1983.
So you're 9 years old.
Yeah.
Mum's there.
Mum's there. Dad's there.
Dad's in a.
No, Dad got out, and that's why we escaped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters are there.
Yeah, just one older brother.
All right.
And my little brother was born at the refugee camp.
Amazing. And Harry, fast tracking you then. So Harry Nguyen from Vietnam, not being able to speak English. Which school was your first school?
We went to a Catholic school in Frankston, and I started.
My God! I grew up in Frankston.
Yeah.
Very Anglo.
Yes.
What do you call it?
Anglo-Saxon. Yeah.
And a Vietnamese boy turns up.
They were coming and touching my hair.
Oh my God! And that wouldn't have been an easy experience.
Well, it was okay, but we moved a lot. Every 6 months we moved, and we moved closer to the Vietnamese communities to get the support and the guidance. And as I moved, I wasn't settled. I didn't have any friends. So because I was small and I looked different and my English wasn't good at the time, I couldn't be able to communicate. I was the easy target to pick on. And I got bullied from primary school right up to high school.
When you say bullied, what people come up want to fight you?
Well, verbally, you know, they call me a stupid ching chong, go back to your country. And I said, mate, my country was destroyed. But of course they don't understand that.
God bless you.
Physical bully, like grab, punch, kick here. I was, I used to get bullied at recess, lunchtime, before school, after school.
God bless you.
Yeah.
God bless you. So then, of course, you probably started drinking and hanging out with gangs. But we'll talk about that, how you cope with that, and you probably became a good fighter along the way. I know I did. Well, we might have a short break, and we'll be back very shortly. What a beautiful man. Difficult growing up. Tough times never last. Thank you very much for joining, and whatever you're going through at the moment, do just that. Go through it. Quite often there's nothing to fix. What a beautiful man on the couch, Harry Nguyen. Couple of similarities. We both meditate, and we both came here at the age of 9. Isn't that amazing? And I couldn't speak English either. I got sort of, I don't know about bullied, but people would want to have a go and stuff, and lost a couple of fights, and then after that didn't lose another one because we learned how to fight. And we fight hard, and I'm glad I gave up that fighting nonsense and got into meditation. But when people pick on you, and we tend to get angry, don't we? So after a while, I was the same. I'd hear somebody wanting to fight me, and you'd give it your all. You'd almost bloody kill them. And you started fighting.
Well, it was more of I scared of the situation more than getting angry, because I know that it's not them. It's the fear. It's the jealousy. It's the confusion in people that is the enemy. It's not just kids. But anyway, I didn't tell anybody. I was too scared to tell my teachers and my parents. They were working 2-3 jobs at a time, right?
So when you went home, you pretended everything was okay?
That's right, yeah. But after a while, I didn't look forward to go to school, and my grading was about to drop. So we had a conversation, my father and I told him. So he put me into a martial arts class, like any Asian parents, and I start training. And one day there was this kid about year 9, and I told him to leave me alone. He just kept pushing me and punching me. And out of nowhere, I just, my reflex, I just brought came to close, and I just elbowed him right in the nose, gave him a black nose right on the ground. And I said, oh, wow, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. anyway, we sort of became friends, but we both got expelled from school.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we got expelled from school. So I came home and my father was so angry, and he said, this is a disgrace to our family tradition and so forth. He started hitting me, kicked me out of the house, and I ended up in the street.
At the age of 15?
At the age of 15.
And then you joined a gang?
Well, I didn't know I was joining the gang. I was trying to find a place to survive, and some friends introduced me to these guys, and these guys took me in and said, do this and do that. So they provided food, they provided accommodation, but I've got to work for them.
Wow. What did you do?
Well,
The statute of limitations is over, my friend.
I was under 18. But I did a lot of silly things, bodyguard, drug dealing and so forth and so forth. And I drink a lot right through to 16. And luckily I had a fight with one of the guy there, and I said, this is not for me.
No. How long were you with that group for?
It was less than 1 year.
That's amazing, Harry. When you say bodyguard, so your martial arts took you to another level. You became a weapon.
Well,
How long did you practice for?
I did about 5-6 years, Michael.
Yeah.
In various martial arts, but mainly on Taekwondo.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. And then you dropped out of school. Mum and Dad just owned you. You're hanging out with this gang. And when do you say, hey, I want to go back to school?
Well, the thing is, I fell in love with this beautiful young girl, and she said, Harry, why don't you go home and study in the same school as me?
Wow.
And at the same time, I was really deep into alcohol, drugs, and doing all illegal stuff. And I didn't get along with them as well. So I went back to my nature self and I said, this is not for me. I'm leaving. So I had to run away. I ran away. They were looking for me. I ran away.
Did they ever call and say, where are you? You're supposed to do a few birds, steal a few cars, and sell a few drugs for us.
Well, there's no mobile phones at the time. They were sending guys to go out and look for me. But I went away.
And you haven't seen any of these characters around since?
No, not. Try to avoid seeing them, contact with them.
Isn't that amazing? And what happened then? Did you marry that girl or fall in love?
No, I didn't. I came back to school, and it took me a while to get back to normal.
Same school, or were you?
Different school.
What school was that?
This is Kings Park. I think they changed the name now, and it's in the western area near St Albans. And I still continue to drink and so forth. And the parents of the girl took her away because they didn't want her to associate with me. So I said, I was heartbroken, but I said, I've got to study to prove it to them that I can do it. So I focused on study and study and study and study, and I ended up doing it for myself and for my parents.
Wow.
And I became one of the best students in year 12. I got awarded as one of the best students, got into RMIT universities, doing exactly what I wanted in building.
Wow.
Yep.
So what did you study?
I studied construction. Because I saw that where I came from Vietnam, everything was destroyed.
Wow.
So I wanted to build, and my adopted grandfather was in building. So I wanted to build. I always wanted to build. I want to build as a metaphor, not just buildings. I want to build my life. I want to build communities.
Wow.
I want to give back.
You're a great inspiration, brother. And I can see the presence. You're so much in the presence. So that took discipline of thought, going through, being bullied, being angry, drinking, drugs, drug dealing, all this sort of stuff to meeting this beautiful lady. Did you end up at least dating her after you did all that hard work?
No, I didn't.
You
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, those parents. But if she's watching now, she'd be very impressed. She might come back, but you've got a wife, haven't you? Yeah. But we'll be back very shortly. Tough times never last. Welcome back to the show. Wow, Harry. Wow, I've got a lot to learn. I thought through my meditation and everything and this and that, but I'm still having a bit of junk food, having a few drinks every now and then, So before, bit of party drugs, drinking a lot. What were you drinking? Wine or beer?
Beer mainly.
Yeah.
So we're cheap, cheaper than wine, Michael.
And you realised that you committed crime, but it never gave you any joy, anything, you know. And then discipline came, and you followed your dream and started a company that's now in Melbourne and Sydney. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay. So I graduated. I've got a few tertiary qualifications.
A few.
I did lots of universities. And then there were licenses and accreditations and industry studies. I've got all of that. And then I thought, you know, I'm pretty good. So I started a business in helping people. Wow. Doing high-rises, development, subdivisions, property-related consultancy.
Oh, just small renovations.
Not just not small renovation.
Isn't that amazing?
I do it all. And we have about 8 staffs and 2 offices, Melbourne and Sydney.
That's beautiful. Harry, that's beautiful. You've got a family and you've got children?
Yes, I've got 4 children,
yeah.
4 lovely children, and business. And then I started, I wanted to give back because I started doing meditation about 20 years ago.
Wow.
And that changed my life. You know, and the way that I do business is I don't mind being successful, and I love what I do, and I like to help people. But with that spiritual, with that mindfulness practice, I become more at the present moment, more calmer when I'm dealing with people, and I bring the love and the kindness into my business. And if you sort of marry that together, that's the path of success.
Oh, I love it. I could even feel your energy, you know. I'm a criminal defence lawyer, and I feel the energy coming from people who are going through some difficult issues, and it really wears you down, but I can feel your presence. You're right here. This is the best mental neighbourhood to hang out, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Because too many people sort of get lost in the past or the future. And tell me more about mindfulness.
Yeah, sure. So mindfulness for me in my practice is, like, as you said, to become at the present moment. Mm-hmm. Because once you get carried off the past or worry about the future, anxiety and fear and things like that, especially with the COVID-19 recently, we had a lot of fear in us, you know, and if we can bring ourselves back to the present moment, we know exactly what to do.
Isn't that beautiful?
The power is now.
And silence is a real healer, isn't it? How much time do you devote to mindfulness?
Okay, so in my tradition, I do sitting meditation every morning and evening, but I apply that mindfulness meditation throughout the day, everything that I do. So I have driving meditation, I have answering phone meditation, I have eating meditation, I have walking meditation. So I practice all the time. I'm basically practicing when I'm here with you right now.
Of course you are, I can feel
100%.
It. Oh my God, that's amazing. I do it in the mornings, but I should really do the evening one as well, you know?
Yeah, sure.
That's amazing. And you mentioned kindness before. And can you tell our viewers about kindness, about detachment and impermanence?
Sure. Looks like you've done a bit of research about Buddhism. So it is, my tradition is about Buddhism. So impermanence is everything changes. And if we attach to something that we think that it's going to be there permanently, we will suffer. You know, it's all related to feelings and things like that. And the ability to let go. So, and the concept of emptiness as well. Emptiness is the interbeing, that we are all related to each other. We're not a separate self. You know, without the sun, I won't be here. Without my parents, I won't be here. And the same with you. You know, so we are all connected in some sort of way with everything that exists in this world.
You're a beautiful human being, Harry. You really are. And for the people watching who are going through some really difficult issues and they're not coping well, divorce, a family member died or suicided, drug issue, or they might be dying of cancer. What's your advice? How can we not fix but handle those issues?
I think for me it's the ability to be calm, the ability to control my emotions so that I don't act or I don't say anything to hurt people. And you mentioned before, I mean, I talked about loving kindness. And loving kindness is a big thing for me. If I do kind act to other people with kind thought and kind act and kind speech, then it always comes back to me. And I feel good about it.
That's beautiful. And what about the pain people are feeling? Back to that question, how do they ease the pain?
I think with pain and suffering and any challenges in life, they are there for a reason. They teach us. They are our teachers. So it's not about avoiding one thing and moving on to another, but it's about accepting that.
Accepting that.
Accepting pain and just sit with the pain, be friend with the pain and the suffering, and you learn so much.
All right. So the girl who we interviewed before who lost a child, she sits with the pain and then that pain gets better, yeah?
Yes.
And that makes her, even because a lot of people say if life was soft, it creates a lot of soft people, but tough times create strong characters, yes?
Correct, yeah. You can understand so much about yourself, Michael,
Amazing.
when you actually sit and accept what it is, just as it is.
Wow. Are you the perfect human being, Harry Nguyen?
No, I'm not. I'm just learning.
Just amazing. And what are the plans for the great man for the next 12 months or the next 5 years?
Well, I've got mindfulness community, so I continue to grow my business and helping. Every day I'm just excited going to work with my team, helping people, and that's my aspiration. That's my deepest aspiration. And then on the side, I build communities. I build mindfulness communities that people will come to me. We practice together and we transform. We heal all this past pain that inside of us and outside of us.
Wow, I want to become part of that community. Thank you so much.
No worries.
You've got so much to teach all of us. Amazing. Thank you so much. What a great man. So highly effective. So. Isn't that amazing how he turned his life around? But I'd love to sit here and talk to him all weekend. But Harry Nguyen, and all the very best. We'll see you very soon.